the rest of the media, legacy media, they got all of these stories wrong. You cannot trust them. Here with reaction, Fox News legal analyst Greg Jarrett, criminal defense attorney Mark Eiglarsh is with us. Good to see you both. Greg, start with you. Look, the reason I knew that these kids were innocent is I actually didn't rush to judgment like so many other people in legacy, you know, the corrupt news media, as I call them, did, and these professors did at Duke, is because I actually took the time, didn't rush to judgment. I drove over to the home of one of these kids, met with some family members. I knew there would be exculpatory evidence that they had. Nobody else in the media, none of these professors on that campus that signed that letter, you know, basically saying they're guilty, you know, none of them took the time and they smeared and slandered these kids. Do you think there's any legal venue for them to get their good name back at this point?
No, they'll always be haunted by it. Now, they filed a bunch of lawsuits and received financial compensation, but you can't get your good name back among some people. You know, this woman's despicable lies ruined the lives of the lacrosse players. You know, her story early on unraveled. It was demonstrably false. It was a hoax. And anybody paying attention knew it. The DA, Mike Nifong, either knew it or should have known it, but he was so determined to abuse the law to persecute innocent young men that he hid exculpatory evidence. Disgraceful. Of course, he was disbarred for fraud and dishonesty and criminally prosecuted himself for lying. And the Durham Police Department, my Lord, they were also corrupt. They used a photo lineup with only the players in it, so the fix was in. But the worst, I think, was Duke University, which led this rush to judgment that the media joined in. 88 professors without any evidence immediately signed a letter condemning the innocent players. The university president at the time joined in, canceled the team, fired the coach. There were death threats. The media, again, was complicit. But I think the larger damage that this woman did is really incalculable. Her lies cast doubt on the real victims of sexual assault, and that is so very tragic.
That's a great point, too. Mark, let's get your take on this.
First of all, I agree with every single thing that just flowed from Greg's mouth. I'll go one step further and say that she wasn't properly punished for what she did. I'm going to say, and again, any legislators that are listening, please understand that I'm a defense attorney, yet I'm calling for stricter laws against anybody who falsely claims, in this case, violent offenses against someone when it is absolutely meritless. How about minimum mandatories for those who make up allegations like this? We've got minimum mandatories for certain drug possession cases, gun cases, child pornography. This woman didn't commit murder, but she assassinated the character and the good name of 3 extraordinary young kids who could be my kids. All my kids are in college. These could be my kids. How dare she? And her apology? Yeah, I don't know. Maybe she's sincere, but her chance for me to believe anything that flowed from her lips sailed 18 years ago when she lied about these guys. Maybe she's doing it because she wants parole. Parole from the second-degree murder charge that she faces and she's languishing in prison for. So, no, she gets no forgiveness from me. And candidly, I'd like to see people like her go to prison for making false allegations like this in the future.
You know, Greg, you were a big part of the coverage. We would unpeel every single layer of the onion when it came to the Russia hoax or Hillary Clinton, her dirty disinformation, Russian paid-for dossier, and the FISA case, and impeachment 1, impeachment 2. You were a big part of all that coverage, you, John Solomon, Sarah Carter, and a few others, not everybody. And everyone else in the state-run legacy media mob gets all of it wrong. They've got all of these cases wrong, and there never seems to be consequences for them. They peddled the Russia hoax for 3 years. You wrote a #1 best-selling book about how awful they were. And it just raises the question why anybody would trust them anymore. And I think that did play a part in this election. Do you agree?
Yeah, I do think it played a big part in the election. A lot of voters didn't trust the media, the mainstream legacy media, the liberal media. All you have to do is look at the latest polling results from Gallup. Historic low in trust for the media, and they deserve that kind of criticism and condemnation from most Americans. And so they go elsewhere for their news and information. There have been so many of these, hoaxes. Those of us who got the Russia hoax right were mocked, ridiculed, and demeaned by the mainstream media. And those who got it wrong, the Washington Post and the New York Times, what did they get? They got Pulitzer Prizes for being wrong. And they never apologized for it. They simply moved on to their next faux inflammatory hoax.
We'll give you the last word, Mark. Tie this to the legacy media.
All I'll tell you is, in my 32-year career, yes, I've been practicing for 32 years in spite of my youthful appearance, I've had repeated, passionate requests over and over again from the media. Please sit down with me. Let's get it right. Don't run with the story they're feeding you. And unfortunately, they have their narrative. They're going to run with it. And so I'm pleading to you. Let's make that end. Use this case as an example. Don't always believe what's being sold to you. And with the Mike Naifungs that are still out there, who are prosecutors, who are going to use their name to feed you erroneous information, maybe take a pause and question that information first before publishing.
All right, Mark, appreciate it. And as always, Greg Jarrett, thank you. When we come back,